My name is Frank Bonetti, and I am drinking a Mo.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin' be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking All right, go. Everybody. Welcome to Drinking at Moe's. Big Mo here. Drill, YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, because that YouTube algorithm is a pain in the ass. We are most places you can find YouTube audio podcast too. Wow, brain fart. All right. But today I'm excited to have with me Frank Bonetti out of H2O Wrestling. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. I got a show for another promotion that I am pretty excited to get to. That I've ran into some H2O talent there, but Sammy Callahan's promotion, Wrestling Revolver, they got a show
Okay.
December 2nd that a friend of mine and I are going to be at. So I'm excited. And, I'm getting to talk to more H2O talent.
Yeah, that's the card with yeah, that's the card with Ronda Rousey on it, right?
That one is actually in LA. This one that I'm going to is actually in Des Moines, but they do have on the card that I'm going to Grizzled Young Veterans versus the Rascals. And then they have Jake Chris versus Alex Shelley. And I know they got more coming up, but that's most of what they have announced so far.
That sounds lovely.
Oh, yeah. But, first thing I like to start off with my first time guest on is what got you started as a fan? And then what got you to finally decide to make that leap into the business?
Okay, so it's gonna sound kind of cliche because
Nah,
uh
it happens.
people say it goes as far back as when they were like a kid, but growing up, you would my dad used to watch wrestling all the time, and we would watch all the pay-per-views together, collect all the action figures. So like as long as I can remember anyway, like going back, uh, I've always been in the wrestling and watched it, not really much in it or around it, just like watching it from afar and like trying to collect all the action figures and cards and things like that.
Yeah,
Um,
like me.
so- yeah, yeah. Um, so with that being a thing, in the back of your mind, you're always like, oh man, like what if I ever get the opportunity to actually become a professional wrestler, and train somewhere? So I always kind of was like, maybe one day it could happen. It's a lot of people's dreams.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I went to high school. I went to high school with I'm gonna jump ahead now to how I got into wrestling.
Okay.
I went to high school with Dylan McKay.
Mm.
Me and Dylan
Yeah,
McKay,
I
we
saw
go
him
back.
last night.
I've known him about 10. Yeah. We go back probably 10, 11 years. We went to high school together, and he was like family friends with like Drew Blood and um Chuck and Danny Havoc. And when Matt Tremont opened up his school, I believe in late 2018, they were telling him about it. Uh, um, and we had just in 2018, me and him both graduated high school. Um, and they told him about the Tremont and his training thing. We let a little bit of time go by. I believe in like February of 2019, he
Mm.
started training first. Um, and like Matt had started doing the Undiscovereds. That's like the first two episodes. Me and him went to together with like some of our buddies. And then I believe after the third one that we went to in March, I had talked to Matt and see about training and things like that. So I believe it was the last week of March was like the first week of training I did in 2019,
Hmm.
and I've been doing it ever since.
Hey, that's that's good. I know it's a little easier now. Like these, like hell, even really back then to find pro wrestling schools. I know when I was growing up in high school and before, it was like very spread out. Like there wasn't much, and you'd have to maybe take a plane to get to one in a lot of cases. And now it does seem like
Sounds
it.
about right.
Yeah, and now it's like literally any part of the country you're in, you might have to drive a few hours, but literally every part of the country has at least a couple reputable schools in it.
Yeah. I mean in New Jersey alone, I mean the HO Academy, the Monster Factory.
Oh yeah, no, you cut out there a little bit.
This is another one, Monster Factory. You got Cheeseburger out in Bristol with his dojo. Um,
Okay,
the I don't know if you heard of the Catch Point. That's
you know what?
that's
I've
around.
heard of it. I've heard of it.
Yeah, so Catch Point's around. So I mean, in the general area now, there's at least like six, seven schools that I know of anyway that people can go to and train at become a professional wrestler.
Oh yeah, and I know the some friends of the show, the SATs, they got their thing up in New York.
Yes, yeah.
So lots of good stuff. Now, we got into how you got into H2O, and they've actually just gotten off a couple of big shows. I mean, going all the way back, they not all that long ago just had their 200th live event where you were in there in a pretty intense match
Mhm.
that cuffed in the cage, if I'm saying it right. And god dang, like I got my
Uh-huh.
IWTV subscription back, and that was like the first thing I went to. And I'm just like, okay, that's about the intensity I expected.
Oh yes.
What was it
We love
like
our
being in there for you? Because I mean, you had the weapons, the two sides of a cage, the barbed wire. It was nuts.
I mean, I might sound like I probably sound a little nuts saying it, but then again, I'm sure there's a million other guys that'll say it. But like the hardcore and like kind of deathmatch aspect of wrestling, to me, I feel like that's like a thrill like no other. Like it just makes your blood boil, and you're like, ooh, like this is something. This is exciting. Um, and you just have a grand time. And honestly,
Though I can imagine. I mean, yeah,
I mean, how else
when
can you get away with just hitting somebody with a chair or smacking somebody with a cookie sheet? You know what I mean?
yeah, that
Or
and the light
pushing them in
tube.
the barbed wire.
Yeah, like there's not really many other ways you can legally get away with hitting people with that stuff. It's insane. Like
No, not at all.
just just last night, we'll go into a little more into this show, but last night with the death match gauntlet, my wife was actually in the room with me as I was watching that, and let's just say my wife seeing her first death match, it, it was interesting. Me, I'm sitting there just glued, and she's like, "Oh, why is that necessary?" I love it. I love it.
It's a
But
thrill. Yep, it's a thrill that some unpleasant to others, unfortunately.
oh yeah.
I'm
Now,
sure eventually everybody comes to love it, support it.
oh yeah, I would like to think that. And I know, the big weekend that H2O had with two shows. They had, Bound by Blood, where you had a H2O title shot. What was that like
Oh
for you? But
yes,
then
got a
we'll also go
few teeth chipped
into
on that one.
hmm?
I said got a few teeth chipped out on that one,
I was gonna say, because yeah, that was
but
another one that I had to catch a little later, but I was happy to see you getting a shot at the big title there.
yeah, I've been getting a lot of great opportunities recently. Me and Adonis, we just wrestled for the tag shows, the tag titles a few shows ago. Um, Obviously getting to go to the finals in the Hustle Cup, and then the culmination of the world title match. Didn't win there though. We did our thing. Had a really good match.
Yeah, you had
I
a
enjoyed
pretty
it.
damn solid match. And yeah, like I said, I was enjoying myself. But then, going back to kind of the death match stuff, that same weekend they had the Tremont Tournament of Death.
Yes.
And, you know, you having that experience there with the Cuffed in the Cage, one of these next years they run that. You thinking of trying to get yourself in there?
Oh, of course. I'd love to, honestly. It all goes back to what I said earlier about the cup in the cage match. About how death matches, it's a thrill like no other. You love it. And when
Oh,
you do one and you're like, man, I'm gonna do another one. And then you do another one and like, come on, like keep feeding them to me.
once you get that
It's
taste, you're just like, oh, I want more.
yes.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. I know I've only ever been able to experience a couple death matches. One was like a no ring death match show, which was intense. So the from a fan perspective, getting to see it live, it's along the same lines of what you were describing. And like, once you get that taste, you just want more of it. You want to go see more. And I'm like
Hmm.
constantly keeping my eye out for more.
You're like, oh, what? You just you're sitting there and you're like, how? All right, they did this, and this, like the opening match had these gimmicks to work with. How are the next matches going to incorporate different gimmicks and keep it entertaining while doing it all like at
Oh yeah,
the same time? It's very
yeah.
interesting.
Oh, I totally agree. I know I've had the talk with a bunch of people that, you know, like a lot of forms of wrestling, there's supporters, there's detractors, especially with death matches. But the common theme that everybody that has actually been in them has all said is it's just like any other form of wrestling. You got it just
Hmm.
surrounded by the death match elements. So when it's done properly, it's just
Yeah.
any other form of wrestling.
Hmm. You gotta know how to work with the gimmicks, as they
Oh
say.
yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
don't want to just get in there and kill each. Do a little bit of the spooky stuff too.
Oh yeah. And let's just say things we'll go into another show here with Uncharted Territory, but things kind of got started off there kind of interesting because Tremont had his buried alive match with Cruel, and now it's like that very first episode of Uncharted Territory this season got off to a weird, little bit entertaining ending to me, where now Tremont and Cruel are together, and it's like, holy shit!
Yeah. a force to be reckoned with, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know. I mean, Tremont's enough of a beast on his own, and then you add
Hmm.
Cruel in there.
I
It's like,
mean, yeah, we're talking about. Did you watch the Matt and Cruel wrestle each other at ICW?
yeah,
And Cruel popped out his shoulder on the dive, and he still kept going. That dude is a
hmm
monster. He is a monster. He's insane.
yeah. He is nuts. I actually just realized the other day when looking through some stuff on Twitter or X or whatever the hell you want to call it now. Cruel actually follows me on there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Oh, how about that?
okay, all right. I'm not gonna mess with him though. Not gonna do
Oh
it.
no, I would never mess with him.
No, I mean, I will say that it's Matt Tremont is definitely on my like bucket list of people I've been wanting to have on. Although, yeah, it'd be an interesting interview, especially if he wanted to do it in character with him being aligned with Cruel now. That would be
Yeah.
interesting.
Now we're looking at a whole different Mad Tremont now.
Yeah, definitely. Now, the thing that we were just talking about a little bit, I think, man, was it before? I've been, my head's been all over the place lately, but last night, the Ladders Legal Scramble match.
Yes.
Damn, scramble matches are
I
crazy enough, but you
throw
add
ladders
people,
in the mix.
oh, God, yeah. And like, there's ladders getting broken in there. Like, I
Getting
damn
chucked
near
at
thought
people's
you,
heads.
I thought
Gigi
you
did the
damn near
spinny thing with
died.
the ladder. I know that tombstone. I'm surprised I'm still alive. Jesus.
Yeah, God, that was nuts. And although I will say this with this whole scramble thing they got going on with Uncharted Territory, I'm for one loving it because that first episode, they had Jimmy Lloyd come on, and then he says that he's going to be there every week. They're going to have a new one every week, so it's like, okay, you got my attention. I'm going to be turning it in every damn week.
Yes. That's what you want to do. You want to draw people in and make them want to tune in for the however many weeks of uncharted territory there are.
Yep. I wanted to say, how many did they say? Like seven,
I believe eight, 7 or 8.
or
Yeah, I
eight.
believe it's eight. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, that I just got my subscription back for IWTV. Long story on why I had to cut it for a while. So, if I'm getting this right with this Deathmatch Discovery Gauntlet, it's basically like a gauntlet match, but every week, and then Anthrax, a former guest, I haven't released this episode yet, but he's on a roll there, and as of recording this, next one's Mouse. Excuse me, I like my Dr.
Yes.
Pepper, but it gives me the
Week
burps
3.
like crazy. But
Oh,
if they continue this with the death matches outside of this season, we've talked a little bit about throwing your hat into the throwing your hat in there
the
for like
tournament aspect.
the tournament, and then having the experience in cuffed in the cage. This is all the Discovery Gauntlet, in a way, kind of like another tournament, because it's not like a regular gauntlet where it's like one right after the other. It's every week. Would you? I'd imagine
Yes,
with the topics we've talked about, you wouldn't mind getting your hat thrown in
not at all. I'd embrace it with arms wide open.
there. Damn it! Now I got that song stuck in my head.
You're welcome.
Didn't expect that song to get stuck in my head, but now it is. Oh well, it's there. Nothing I can do about it. Now, I got two categories here that I kind of like to round stuff off with. One's a bit of a name game where I try to, as much as possible, theme it towards the guests. And this one, all but, well, actually, you know what? Now I'm re-looking at my notes here. Every person on this list has not only been a big part of H2O at one point or another, but they've also been a former guest of the show. And, I give you the
How about
name,
that?
you give me some quick thoughts on the person.
Sounds good to
All,
me.
all right. First one here. Kind of talked about him a little bit just a minute or two ago. Anthrax.
And I like Anthrax. Me and him, we've danced a few times on a few separate occasions. Uh, 6-man tags. Him and I actually just went out to it was like 2 weeks ago, I believe. We just went out to West Virginia to do a tag team no ring death match. So,
Okay.
he's a good guy to me. I like Anthrax.
Oh yeah, no, he was great to talk to, and it's definitely interesting getting to see him be in there with that whole deathmatch discovery gauntlet for Uncharted Territory on a bit of a roll. So
And
I
kind of
guess
getting a little bit of spotlight.
definitely, definitely. Next one, a bit of a Hall of Famer, but he's I think he's even on this next one. The next big show, anyways. Low Life Louie.
Oh man, Louis. I love Louis to death. As I'm sure a lot of people do. He's
Oh yeah.
like the sweetest kind of soul in the world, and it's like, how can you not like Low Life Louis? Um,
Oh yeah. Totally.
we actually it's on IWTV. I don't know if you saw it or not. Me and Louis did a home run derby death match. I think back in March or April, and
You
actually
know
I
what?
gave him.
I might have to go check that one out because, like I said, I just got my subscription back. So some of the
Yes,
stuff back that far, I'm gonna have to go check out, which I definitely will be.
yeah, I will. I'll send you that exact show. But I gave him he's got a nice little scar from me because we from one of the gimmicks we used in that match.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah,
I, you know what? I think I might have even seen that scar. I know he showed me a few.
maybe. Yes.
All right, now.
Steak knife bat.
Oh God, ow. All right, next person. She is currently the hybrid champion, the grimy bitch Jess Moss.
Yeah. She's see, I don't like to say bad things about people. So everybody, unfortunately, I'm gonna say good things about. Um, I like Jess too. Uh, she's got a good sense of humor, tough as nails. Uh, can get in there and do the dance with the best of them. She wrestled Matt on a few occasions and took it to him. She's one tough
Oh,
SOB.
oh yeah, I've seen uh bits of those matches, and yeah, she she can definitely go in there. I know I've had a couple people on that. She would also fit this moniker, equal opportunity ass kicker.
Yes.
Most definitely. All right. Next, last but not least for this one, the sky, and if you ask me, sky's not even the limit for this person. Already up to amazing things at such a young age. I'm talking about Billy Starks.
Billy Starks. So I've never I haven't interacted with Billy a lot, but she's very well loved in the locker room. Everybody loves her. Former hybrid champion of only for one night. She still got the belt. I love seeing what she's doing now. Getting to be on Ring of Honor TV and getting that bigger opportunity because she's somebody that really deserves it. And yes, as you said, sky's the limit for her. Wish her the
Oh
best.
yeah, I gotta have her on. Oh God, when was it? I think it was just after her junior year of high school.
Oof.
Like I had messaged her about it before that, but she was concentrating on school, so she said to get back to her after the school year. I'm like, hey, cool, I can do that.
Yeah.
And then boom, here we are. Definitely, you know what I'm trying to think? I think it's one of, at least on YouTube, one of the top like 10, 15 most viewed on YouTube right now.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Oh yeah. All right. Now I have some random questions. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be. Some might have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far. That's why it's random. I
Yeah,
give you the
let's hear
question,
'em.
you give me the first answer pops in your head.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. First one of the few that I like to keep in here as much as possible. Craziest in match moment for you?
Jesus. Uh, I don't know. Probably jumping off the cage and pinning Tremont back in the cuff cage.
That would be a good one.
I think
Yeah.
that'd probably be up there. Or make just debut match, maybe getting a step in the ring for the first time in front of the live crowd.
Okay, that can be a crazy moment in and of itself. First match out there in front of a crowd. Not really knowing what to expect. Definitely. All right, now a question that I've been starting to put in here some because I don't know, I've been thinking about what I would do if you won the lottery and had what I like to call fuck it money. Like you just had so much money, you'd be like, you know what? I've always wanted this. Fuck it. I'm going to go get it. What would it be?
Honestly, it'd be just probably just be a house, house somewhere with tons of space. You can be away from people. Kind of just do my own thing. Nice little bits of land.
Hey, I can understand that. I know I definitely had those thoughts myself.
Especially being from the city, everything's so cooped together, and you're like, man, I just want to
Oh
get
yeah.
out of here.
Oh yeah. I can imagine. I know. I mean, unfortunately, as of recording this, I about a week ago lost one of my dogs, but I
I'm very sorry to hear that.
but I it would have been something cool to have, that much space and, your dogs could just run around and,
Mhm.
just have all that stuff to just play around and just enjoy themselves. That would have been cool.
No, no care in the world out there.
Oh, yeah. Quiet too.
Mm. That's probably the most important part.
Nah, yeah. Yeah, definitely quiet. Especially, with all the city noises and stuff. While it's nice, being right near everything, if you get the chance to have some place with some peace and quiet, I
Yeah,
can,
which is very
get it.
rare.
Yeah, yeah. I've joked because I know that I would never actually be able to do this, but there's this zoo here in Omaha that they have this nocturnal exhibit where part of it is like you're on a boardwalk on a swamp, and like you can look down and you can see gators swimming around in there. And I'd be like, you know what? If I ever had that much money, I would build me one of those.
I
I
like
know
the
I'd
sound of that
never,
actually.
I know I'd never actually be able to do it, but like just the thought of, man, if I could.
A little moat with some animals in there, some
Oh
wildlife.
yeah, oh yeah, that would be epic. All right, now when it comes to well, wrestling in general, especially independent wrestling, there's a lot of road trips. And one thing I know I like to do on road trips is, beforehand putting together, just a random playlist so I don't have to mess with my damn phone. What are some songs you would put on a road trip playlist?
Let's see. So thanks to Austin, probably any Bad Omens song would be on the playlist. Um, because learn about Bad Omens from Austin, and I love Bad Omens. They're great. Um, Mayday Parade. I don't know if you ever heard of Mayday Parade.
Mm-hmm.
They go back. Any other songs? I'm a huge fan of Mayday Parades. Um, Throw in a little bit of like T-Pain, like little like throwback rap stuff. And I like to listen to some podcasts too.
Oh,
So not everything's like music related.
oh yeah, yeah. I definitely have my podcast that I like to listen to, and my the music on my phone is a little bit of everything. Like you hear people say, "Oh, I'm into a little bit of everything." I'm like, you look at my phone, and there is a little bit of everything in there.
Yes. I
I
can
mean,
agree to that too.
when it comes to rap, I'll admit it's mostly, I guess, any more considered old school stuff. But it's like that's all the rap that I can even. Some of the stuff that the brand new stuff, some of the people coming out, I'm like, what?
Yeah. You can't understand half the things they're saying, and it's just horrible.
Yeah, definitely. All right, now question in here that I like to keep in because I would feel weird if I didn't have a question like this in here with the name of a show like Drinking at Moe's. Favorite drink, whether, alcoholic, non, both, because, I've had people on that for one reason or another don't drink. So I try to keep it wide because I always tell them just because it says Drinking at Moe's does not mean it has to be alcoholic.
Hmm. Uh, so with alcohol, I like the Screwball, the peanut butter whiskey.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's my go-to drink. Um, as far as drinks, I like probably chocolate milk is
That
my guilty
oh,
pleasure.
can't go wrong there. Can't go wrong there. I know. I mean, I'm good with chocolate milk. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. But the peanut butter whiskey, that's a good one. I mean, I've been drinking my Dr Pepper here. That my wife says I got a problem. I tell her as long as I have some, I don't got a problem.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
But yeah, I've always considered myself more of a beer guy. Like I don't know why, I just have been. And I wish they had one of my favorites a little more available, but Stone Cold's American Lager, the Broken Skull American Lager, the closest
Never
that
never
it's
had that.
available to me is like 3 hours away.
Ooh, that's a shame.
Yeah, but a little benefit though is my brother-in-law lives in that town.
So you got an easy little. Hey man, do you mind picking me up some IPAs?
Yeah, I can just be like, hey, next time you're coming up, can you like I'll even find the store. I'll find the store and send you the address. You just got to go pick it up, and I will pay you when you get here.
That's lovely.
I'm you, now. I need to do that. Like I really, I need to actually go do that. Wow. Yeah. No. Definitely. All right. Now, last but not least for the category, best advice for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
Uh, let's see. So probably the biggest thing is that it's not going to be easy. Um, Wrestling takes a strain on your body, on your mind, on your vehicle, sometimes on your wallet, uh, tolls and things like that. But people
Tolls,
get
ring gear, all that
yeah,
stuff.
uh, just don't give up. Keep going at it. You might not feel it. You're like you're getting anywhere, but everybody has their opportunities. Things come to people eventually. Some catch on quicker than others, and they shouldn't let that deter them from their goals. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Some people are just, some people are more athletic, some people's not so much. So it takes a little more work. Um, so my advice to everybody is kind of just to always keep pushing yourself. Um, don't give up. That's probably the worst thing you can do is give up.
Oh yeah, because you never know that moment you want to give up. If you were to just push through, you might just be getting right. That might be right at that moment that
Hmm.
things would just start blowing up for you. But
Yep, that opportunity
and
would
you
come
gave up.
calling.
Hmm?
That opportunity would come calling, and you would miss it.
No, exactly. So you just keep pushing. It'll get there. I know I've had people more closer to when I got out of the Navy would ask me about, when about enlisting. And I'd always tell them basically make sure it's what you want to do, but then also don't give up because kind of like this instance, you're gonna have moments where you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yes.
But you push through that, you're gonna be fine.
Hmm.
Definitely. All right. Now, before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there.
So, Twitter would be at Frank_Bonetti. Um, Facebook is my real name, Joshua Ciperone, as well as Instagram. Um, Threads is the same Instagram or Twitter username. Um, and that's pretty much all I have right now.
All right. Yeah, no, that's all good. We'll get all that in the description. Now, basically, that's it. But thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. Best of luck out there with everything H2O and beyond. I look forward to, like I said, with my IWTV subscription. Looking forward to seeing lots more of you out there.
Oh yes. What's that? The end of the month, the 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match is coming up
Ooh,
on the what's that? November 25th.
I'm wanting to say so. Yeah,
Yeah. That just got put out today.
that is gonna be epic.
And then uncharted territory every week. Super crazy wrestling debut this Saturday. So
Ooh,
wrestling's going good for me right now. I
that
can't
that
complain.
it is. That it is. Oh, like you
Thank
said,
you
that is.
for inviting me on here. I
Oh,
appreciate it. It's a great opportunity.
you're very welcome. I was excited to get to have you on. Get when we got everything scheduled, I'm like, okay, I've been. This is awesome. I'm gonna enjoy this.
This is my first time doing something like this too. I've never done a
Hey,
podcast or anything like that before. So thanks for giving me that experience.
hey, you're very welcome. I'm happy to be a part of that introduction.